Michael.
DeMichael Cole, Memphis Commercial Appeal here. Now that you've had a lot of time to kind of, I guess, somewhat settle into this new opportunity, what have you made of getting to know your new teammates, getting, I guess, adjusted to Memphis?
I think I'm still getting adjusted a little bit, I would say, as far as just learning my way around the city and stuff like that. But as far as like just being in the gym with my teammates, the chemistry is going well. I feel like I just fit right in when I got here. So that's always a great feeling. Being able to come to an organization and fit right in. So I'm excited about that. And then just talking to most of the guys in the locker room, individual, and just trying to get to know pretty much everybody.
Kentavious here in the back. Matt Enfield with Action News 5 here in town. Welcome to Memphis, first and foremost.
Thank you.
You've been on a couple of championship-winning teams before. I know you haven't been here all that long, but from the conversations you've had, what do you think about just the foundation of the organization and the culture and the potential you think it might has to potentially get to that level at some point?
I mean, we definitely have the talent, and the work ethic. For what I've seen, just by being here and putting in the work with the guys. We ready. We ready for the season to start. We're ready for training camp. Here today. I think we got all the guys back healthy, which is always a great thing. To start the season off. But for us, I think it's all around. Everybody is tied, bought in to what the coaches want. And for this team, what the team needs. I would say I think everybody's bought into that, and I think that's also a great way to start the season off. Coming in training camp, everybody on the same page.
DeMichael. Defensively is something you've kind of made your mark on in your time in the NBA. The Grizzlies have kind of emphasized improving in that area on the perimeter. What do you make of the guys that you have on this roster and the way they could potentially defend, Scottie Pippen Jr., Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells? Those are also guys who try to, do their thing on defense.
I've seen them guys, defend, in action playing as well. And then just playing here, with some of the guys, I've actually felt some of that pressure as far as like defense-wise. But yeah, I like how, aggressive we are defensively, us, picking up full, just being able to, just put a lot of pressure on our opponents. I think that's going to be great, within the guys we have, and I think everybody just have that little nick, as far as getting after it defensively, and everybody's on the same page on that end. Everybody is after it, just being hungry, and being aggressive on that end. I think, for us, it's going to be, key for us, to lock in on that end, throughout this whole season. I think that's going to open up, our game, and it's going to emphasize, the game plan, the coach have in for us.
Hi, KCP, Jarvis Greer, Grind City Media. First time I've said that. This is at Orlando, the numbers dropped off a little bit beyond the arc. How much did it influence your decision to come to Memphis with a player like Ja Morant who could possibly get you some better looks?
It definitely wasn't. For me, I look at who I'm playing with, like you said, and playing with a guy like Ja that is an explosive point guard, that can pass, can shoot. His game is evolving each year. But for me, his most impressive is his passing, but playing with a guy like that, it's gonna definitely open up that 3-point line, and then just to get that percentage back up. I think him putting pressure on the rim, and then even J-Jack, him putting being in that post and being able to pass out of that. I think we're gonna have a lot of open shots, to come around, and everybody's going to be ready to shoot.
KCP, Ruben Diaz, ABC 24, Memphis. You just mentioned a lot of guys and a lot of the talent that they have, but specifically, what do you feel like you bring to Memphis to help take this team to the next level?
That championship DNA, as far as showing up for work, giving 110%, each and every day, no matter if it's, we here at practice or we here, we playing a game, being the same even kill guy, and giving all my effort, for my teammates. Basically, just 3-and-D, what I've been doing for the past 7 years of my career, and just being able to do that, at a high level. And then also bringing that championship leadership over here, being able to, keep my guys in the right place, at the right time, being able to de-stress some of them, and just keep them focused on basketball, and just being that big brother, I would say.
It'd be Chris Dotson, Clutch Points. First, when you just talked about championship DNA and stuff like that, can you tell us just more of your origin story, how you fell in love with the game, maybe who you modeled your game after as a young man? And then on the other end, the identity. Surely you've worn a lot of jerseys, but these Memphis jerseys, they're going back to the throwback. They're pretty hard.
They are pretty hard.
Your opinions on all that, maybe something what you've seen.
Yeah, for your first question, for me, just being around the game, I think that gave me the passion for it. Just being around the game, growing up, watching, like Bron, Kobe, I say name a few more guys, Baron Davis, a lot of them guys. I grew up watching, and they kind of idolized. Just looked up to them as far as the effort, and how hard they worked and to put into their career. Kind of gave me a little bit of purpose, and one of the reasons why I picked up a basketball. I think that goes a long way as far as just me being who I am today. That passion for the game. I still have the same passion, and I think it grows every year. If I'm not mistaken, I think it just grows every year. I forget the second question you had asked. About the jersey. The jerseys, I'm looking forward to them. They are bringing back the new thread. The old threads, them color waves. I'm excited to put it on. I'm excited I have this jersey on right now. And just for me, just the excitement and the joy that I have. Being able to put up on a jersey and go do the thing I love to do the most.
Kentavious in the back again. Something you hit on a second ago. I remember when D Rose signed here a couple of years ago, he said, I'm not here to be a babysitter. I'm here to play, contribute to winning. But you did say that you want to bring kind of that mentorship and a bit of big brother mentality. I guess, how do you toe the line between just playing and contributing on the court, but also trying to be there for some of the younger guys that haven't reached the team success that you've been a part of as well?
I can always have conversations, with anybody. We do. Nowadays we do have cell phones. I can reach out to them individually, or pull them to the side in practice or in the gym, to get to some of these guys. And I think that's going to go a long way as well. It's not always going to be a group setting where you're calling out someone. It's gonna sometimes it's going to be individual to a point where you really had to sit down and talk to this person. And for me, playing wise, yeah, my playing, speaks louder than my words sometimes, and I rather just show it sometimes than to just say it, and just I think for young guys, showing it to them instead of talking to them goes a long way.
Chris Harrington, Daily Memphian, welcome to Memphis.
Thank you.
A few minutes ago, you mentioned wanting to get your 3-point percentage back up to the level that you're used to. If you look at the numbers, your free throw shooting was as good as ever last year. Your mid-range shooting was as good as ever. With the 3-point shooting, did you feel like the kind of shots you were getting from three were different in the Orlando system, or was it just like a fluky thing where sometimes the percentage drops?
I would say a little bit of both. A lot of the shots were different. I was either getting them late or it wasn't coming at all, and then I would just say, if I could just put it in one word, they were just inconsistent. As far as I get the ball, I don't get the ball when I'm wide open. But I get it when it's 2 or 3 people closing out on me. Where I got to do something a little bit different. As far as in my game, it's driving then kicking. I think it just was a little bit inconsistent on just hitting the open guy, I would say. Because a lot of our the plays in Orlando just was more stagnant, and for just us to stand around and it goes to about like being able to pass the ball as well. You got to be able to pass the ball out of traps, out of double teams, and being able to make the right play. Whether what I'm saying, you have a great look. What I'm saying, you might have a good look. I might have a great look. So I think just the inconsistent on just getting the ball to the open guy was the reason why the percentage was down.
For you, we've seen you, I feel like over the course of the years, guard Ja Morant a lot, like especially when you were in Denver, even going back to LA. Like, is there kind of a advantage in a way now that you're on teams with him? You kind of can, give him some of the knowledge of the things that you were doing in order to try to prevent him from scoring and kind of help him out of that way. Is that something that you kind of talk through when you team up with guys?
Yeah. And that is something I could definitely. I haven't talked to him about that yet, but it is something I can talk to him about as far as I am a great solid defender, and me being able to guard him. I also can tell him, when he do run into another solid defender like me, what to do and what not to do. And I just try to tell him just stop playing around with the ball and just go past him. You know what I'm saying? Use your speed instead of just because for me. I'm looking for you to make a second move or a third move, or to turn you, 1 or 2 times. But speeds, trumps all. So if I feel like you're faster than me, then let's try it out. Sometimes just stop playing with it and just go past them.
KCP, you won title in big market LA, one in Denver. Coming to a smaller market as an NBA player, do NBA players put that East Coast, West Coast, want to be in a big market and do that, or you have a chance to come here and try to win a title, and what that would be like?
That would be amazing. Just to come here and win the title. For me, I look at it as man, this is another opportunity for me to go to another organization to win a championship. And I look at it in the organization, how can I help, bring this organization to the level, it needs to be, you know what I'm saying? How can I put myself in a position for everybody to win, like that. And that's how I look at it. I just look at it as it's just a city or a big market city. That's not one of the things I look at. For me, it's just about the passion of the game. I love it. And whatever opportunity I get, I'm going to go play basketball.